Good morning, or afternoon, I should say, but this is Mornings with Michael, not always in the morning. And Mornings with Michael is brought to you for information and educational purposes only. It is your responsibility to do your own due diligence. Uh, we're bringing this today with Bella Flooring. You should contact Jose at Bella Flooring if you want your floor done quickly and properly. He's done an amazing job on our property. And so just wanted to pass this word along. Jose at Bella's Flooring is doing an incredible job. And we may have some pictures later in the week to share with you. So that's the story there. Let's share our screen. We're looking at Shift 4 payments. Really like this company. It was started by Jared Isaacson when he was 16 years old. Used by all the major hotel chains to take your payments. So we'll continue to watch this. It's dropped a little bit today. So we got a gap down here. We got a gap down here. Bond yields moved up. So a lot of the especially small capitalization stocks sold off based on that. So let's take a look at our, we haven't been around for a while. Apologize for that. Kind of working on getting our home up and going. As we can see, bond yields of the dollar, actually, this is the dollar gapped up, closed near its high. See what gold and silver did because of that. Actually, gold has moved up, which is surprising. And silver moved up as well. So interesting. Had a little bit of a sell-off. As a pullback to the 20-day moving average, this might have been a good place to put it back on. And we know we have been suggesting sell at the peak and buy more when it pulls back over here. So that's a story on silver and gold. Look at our copper issues. This copper is pulling back a little bit. I believe we bought it right in this area. So we're continue to hold. Add this to our look, and then we've got a gap up, huge gap up on the copper index, gapped up above its 10-day moving average, up 1% today. We got Southern Copper. Seems to be a little shy this morning. There we go. It's up. We got the institutional ants right over here, showing that institutions are moving into this. Take a look at tech. Tech looks like it didn't gap up, but it definitely moved up. Traded in the middle of its range, up 1%. Freeport-McMoRan traded up and then closed on its low for the day. Vale, the Brazilian mining company, tried to move higher and then sold off. HP, our Australian mining company, actually gapped up, moved up to their declining 50-day moving average and pulled back. Finally, Rio gapped up and closed on the low of the day, 0.67%. Ethereum pulled back. Looks like it tried to move higher. And then it pulled back to its 10-day moving average and then bounced off of that slightly. And look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin initially gapped down for the day and then closed on its high for the day. So let me just see if we can bring up the Bitcoin trading range. Stop this share. We'll try to share the actual Bitcoin. See if it'll come up here. For some reason on this screen, it is slow to come up. Here we go. Still not coming up for some reason. But we'll have to come back to this. I'm not sure why it is not loading on here. So let's share our screen again. So we're going to go to the company news right now. This was as of Friday. We did not get an email today. So in our sector news, Home Depot was in the news. They're buying a company called SRS Distribution in an $18.25 billion deal, including debt. This was the news on Friday. And Home Depot is moving down quite a bit on that news. Moved down a little bit the weekend, and now it's off 4%. Dole announced a deal. LE announced a deal that it has agreed with Fresh Express Incorporated to terminate the previously announced agreement under which Fresh Express would have acquired Dole's Fresh Vegetables division. And Dole popped on that news on Friday and is pulling back to its 20-day moving average today, possibly on the bond yield. Look at in a moment. Miller Knoll. Q3 adjusted EPS 45 cents versus 44 cents. Big gap down on Friday, and it's moving up today. So maybe people read a little bit more on the report or on the conference call. It's up 5.57% today. RH used to be Restoration Hardware. Adjusted EPS on Friday morning, 72 cents versus estimate at $1.67. And normally you would see a gap down on that. Revenues were 738.3 million, below consensus 777.5. Forecasting Q1 demand growth of positive middle single digits and revenues of negative low single digits. I don't know why it'd be moving up, but it is. So there you have it. Big volume on Thursday and Friday. It's down a little bit today, down 3.89%. So Ventum Corporation My mother called me the other day to ask me about this. 3M was separating its healthcare division. Initially, it moved up last week, and it's been selling off ever since. Down 0.7%. Well, it will be added to the S&P 500 effective prior to the open of trading on Monday today, replacing VF Corporation, which will be moved to the small cap 600. VF will replace Motive Care, MODV, in the S&P small cap, and the S&P 500 constituted. 3M is spinning off Solventum, and the transaction expected to be completed by April 1st, and it looked like it was completed earlier. So let's see what BFC is doing. BFC initially moved up on Friday, and it's pretty flat today. And take a look at Motive. It's down slightly, down almost 4%. On to Stellantis. Car manufacturer said it is ready to cut more than 3,000 jobs in Italy, a local union says, as company navigates a bumpy industry transition to electric and more digitized vehicles. Company is offering buyouts to the 3,600 workers across several factories in Italy. And what is Stellantis stock doing? Pulling back to the 20-day moving average. We looked at Freeport McMoran earlier, said Freeport Indonesia has warned the Indonesian government that banning exports of copper concentrate in June could lead to a loss of $2 billion in revenues for Jakarta, the company official said on Thursday. Another company that my mother had asked me about was GE Vernova, and it will be added to the S&P 500 effective prior to the open of trading on Tuesday, April 2nd, tomorrow, replacing Dent Supply's Corona. This X-Ray, see what X-Ray did. X-Ray is pulling back. And see if GE Verona is trading yet. It is not trading, so we'll have to wait till tomorrow. HB Fuller. Q1 EPS 67 cents versus 64 cents. Got a gap down. It did bounce off its 50-day moving average. Big pullback on Friday. So that is the story. On to MSC Industrial. Q2 adjusted EPS $1.18 versus $1.16. I typed in the wrong letters. And we got a strong move down on Friday after the results, and gap down today. Down another 1.12%. On to financials. Jefferies Financial Group. Q1 adjusted EPS 87 cents versus estimate 75 cents. Strong sell-off on Friday and continues the selling off, down another 1.25%. EPS 87 cents versus 75 cents. And Lending Tree says it has secured up to $175 million in financing in the form of a first lien term loan facility from funds managed by Apollo affiliates. It moved up on Friday on that and is pulling back slightly today, maybe on the bond yields moving up. Kibia Therapeutics said FDA approved Vafseo for the treatment of anemia due to chronic kidney disease in adults who have been receiving dialysis for at least 3 months. The drug is now approved in 37 countries. That didn't help the stock any. Pulled back to the 20-day on Friday, and now it's pulling back to the 50-day. Stroke Therapeutics announced pricing of its upsized underwritten public offering of 5.5 million shares of its common stock at a price of $13.50 per share. And it closed pretty close to $13.50. So they were, looks like they're diluting the company, but we had a gap up on their earnings. So people are looking to add this to their portfolio. In the technology, media, and telecom, Braze beats by 1 cent as EPS loss of 4 cents versus estimate of 5-cent loss. It sold off on this news on Friday and continues losing today another 3.23% and another 2% after hours. TD SYNNEX announced proposed secondary public offering of 9 million shares of its common stock, authorized to purchase from underwriters of 500,000 shares of its common stock as part of a secondary public offering, pulling back slightly. It did pull back up quite a bit on Friday and then fought back at the end of the day. And it is off 0.32% today. And finally, Verint, Q4 adjusted EPS on Friday was $1.07 versus 97 cents. Revenues 265 versus 263.12. It did it gapped up on Friday and pulled back towards the end of the day, and it is selling off down 2% today. Maybe something with the bond issue, bond yields. So let's go over and take a look at what the S&P 500 is doing. See if this will come up. Here we go. This is our heat map. Microsoft is up slightly. NVIDIA is down slightly. So is Broadcom and Texas Instruments. Uber is down slightly. Apple is down slightly. Google and Meta are up today. Consumer defensive are up. Walmart and Costco. Healthcare looks good. Financial issues look good. Amazon's down slightly. I'm wondering if this was last week. Let me just refresh this. This is refreshed. Sorry about that. Microsoft is up slightly. Apple is down almost 1%. Google and Meta continue up. Healthcare looks kind of ugly. Financials about the same. So we got a mixed bag today. I looked at some of them in the news like Home Depot. So energy seems to be up. And then as our look at our heat map, you don't want to worry about if you're getting to a certain age and you have a certain amount of money, maybe you want to hold on to that money and guaranteed not to lose money. Some funds, when you roll it over into these funds of annuities, will actually give you a 30 to 45% bonus. And then once it goes up, you cannot lose money coming back down, goes up again, goes up again. So this is how it beats index investing by about 5% per year. So that is that. Just wanted to show that to everybody. If you want to learn more about that, please let us know. You don't want to, once you have earned your money, you don't want it to turn into 2008 in case there's a severe recession where you lose 54% of the money. You may not have enough time to gain that money back. So that's where these annuities come in really handy. So let's go back here. Let's take a look at our bond yields. Yeah, big jump. It gapped up in the morning and closed near its high, up at 4.33% approximately on the 10-year. And on the 20-year, gapped up as well, up to 3.43%. And that's definitely going to affect small caps. Take a look at our small cap index. Big move down about 1%. Dow Jones, I believe, was off 250 points earlier, down 0.62%. S&P 500, down 0.17%, not too bad, just pulling back to its 10-day moving average. RSP pulls back 0.6%. NASDAQ is actually up slightly, up 0.21%. And the equal weight getting away from the big cap tech is down close to 0.3%. So look at our volatility or fear index. Big gap up. Wow, look at that. That's a nice gap we'll have to fill. This is an oscillating index, so it 99.95% of the time fills. Right over here, it filled this one, as you can see, which was like 1301. And it had filled this one, which was 1366. So we'll see when it fills this one. We also had filled this one right over here. So we'll continue to watch that. Let's take a look at some of our ETFs. Financials pulling back 0.55%. Energy should be moving up. Continues to move up. Let's see what the oil index did. It's up nicely. See our triple hedged oil index. It's up a little over 1%. See what, go back to our regular oil index. It's up 1.19. I'm not sure why UCO didn't go up further. It's supposed to be triple hedge, but since they have to rebuy these every day, sometimes it just doesn't pay off. Got a gap up on Friday and continue up right over here. Pretty good volume today. So let's take a look at Weatherford. This is a big holding of ours. Weatherford moves up. We do have a short at 125, I believe. I think that's coming due in April. Just on marching on here. Utilities. Not much happening in utilities. This is our favorite in utilities. Otter Tail Power, 85.81, hit a high of 99.49, gap down and trending down. So we'll just have to see. Earnings are in 26 days. This is another one we had looked at that really sold off. Construction, mining, pipeline doing well. Frontline, oil tanker, still kind of in this range, kind of in a flat base box pattern. Comes down here, comes up here, comes cycles all around. TRMD, another one that we like to watch. Sting, Scorpio tankers. Looks like it's getting pretty close to a bouncing out of this box formation and get to 72.99. That would be the breakout. Look at real estate. Big pullback with the yields jumping in real estate. I believe housing should be doing the same, kind of diving on the big yield move. Take a look at our biotech. Biotech gap down. Tried to fight back to get to its moving averages, down 1.10%. Software, strong pullback, but looked like HubSpot was doing pretty well earlier. Once again, it's kind of in this box range, flat base, just kind of bouncing around. 660 and 10 cents would be the breakout of this box range. So we continue to keep that on our radar. Technology. Tried to move up, but it's pretty flat. Semiconductors. We got a gap up on semiconductors, up 1.3%. Our infrastructure pulling back, but look at this move. Pull back a little bit to the 10-day moving average, bounce, pull back again, and it just keeps on going. So question is, it is pretty stretched. So I would only recommend this if you already held this ETF or add-on at this point. Airlines pulling back today, down 0.76%. Out of the office, down 0.3%. Royal Caribbean is up. Carnival pulling back to its 20-day moving average. Norwegian is up slightly, up 1 cent, not very much. And Airbnb pulling back to its 20-day moving average. We have our industrials pulling back to its 10-day moving average. Healthcare, we saw in the heat map, looks like they're filling the gap over here, pulling back to the 10-day moving average. Consumer cyclical, pulling back to the 10-day moving average. Building materials, pulling back slightly. We saw what Home Depot did, so that was really hurting this index. Finally, metals and mining, they're moving up. Gold, silver, copper helping this out. And steel moving up. That's kind of stretched. Nucor steel up slightly, up 1%. So that's what we have there. Let's take a look what's moving. We can take a look first. This was kind of in the news. Donald Trump's company, Truth Social, they lose $58 million in the last year. So they're filling this gap definitely here. We'll just continue to watch and see what it does in the coming weeks. So here we go. What's up? 3%. A lot of restaurant companies seem to be doing well. First Watch Restaurant Group moving up. It's up 3% today when most of the market was down. Boot Barn Holdings. Look at that move. Yeah, we had a short little consolidation, or you could say a long cup with handle. So I think probably you draw the line on the lower part of the base here. Right here, this day would have been the best day to buy. And it just keeps going up. Guess Clothing had a huge gap up on their earnings, 16% earnings increase. Look at this move up. It's held, it actually undercut the gap. So when it got back into the, if you sold it, if I had this, I would have sold it right here. And then it would have got right back in here as it recovered the gap. Initial gap buying area, and it just continues moving up. Micron Technology, we had a huge gap here, slight undercut, but it didn't close on the undercut. So could have held that there, and it just continues up, and it's gapping up again today. Look at this massive volume. This isn't your Aunt Edna buying the shares. Let me tell you that. Earnings were up 122%. So that is all that is up 3%, 4% increase in volume. What's up? 5% on 100% increase in volume. Lithium is back in the news. Atlas Lithium, their earnings came out last week. People liked it. I had not heard of this lithium, but mine's lithium, titanium, rare earth, cobalt, and iron. And this right here might be buying area as it jumps above the 50-day moving average. If you're interested in this kind of company, Effector Therapeutics in the biotech area, up 8.9%. Look at this buying over here. A lot of only one selling day, and it actually recovered all of it. So I would call that a pink rally day. And it just bouncing above its 200-day moving average. Enliven Therapeutics also moving up. Huge volume. Look at all this volume up here. Commercialized small molecule inhibitors and therapies to treat cancer patients. Graham Corporation. Look at that gap up. Wow. Manufactures vacuum and heat transfer equipment for petrochemical and oil refineries. Up 12% today. The biggest volume since its base over here. Here we have Guess again. Lifeway Foods. We've been talking about them not last week, but the week before. They just continue and continue. Pulled back here. So I guess that would have been your opportunity either early this morning or late Friday. You're kind of a gambler because there's a pretty big selling day. Down, it's low, but it is up another 10% today. Manages probiotic, cultured, functional dairy, and non-dairy health foods. Micron Technology, we looked at that previously. Precision Biosciences, gaps up and closes on its high, right into the buy area. It's above 1502. 1512 would have been the buy. So it is up 13%. Semtech in the semiconductor area just continues moving on up. Came out with their earnings, gapped up. And then we have another gap up here. Slight pullback on Friday, and now it's up again another close to 7%. And Universal Stainless manufactures semi-stainless finish specialty sheets for aerospace. 2080 would have been the buy point. Actually, 2090 would have been the buy point. This would have been a good day to buy. Just kind of continues trending upward. Earnings are not for a number of days. Actually, earnings were up 166%, says here. I'm not sure why I can't pull that up. Largest volume since the base on the selling day. Closed in the middle of the range, pulled back to the 10-day moving average, did not violate it, and then it bounces off to the 10-day today. So let's see what is up 10%, 200% increase in volume. And we got nada. So that is our story there. Let me just take a look at the companies that I am currently following. Bros, we're continuing to watch this. Pull back on bond yields jumping today. That's going to definitely affect Bros. But what do we got here? Got a big cup with a handle over here. As it went above the 20-day, that might have been a day to buy. Trended down, and then it bounced again. So we got another consolidation within a big cup with handle. And it is pulling back here. So we're going to watch it another day or two before we decide what to do. Thinking about putting on an option trade on this one. ServiceNow. This kind of fits in the flat base area. Just continuing to watch this. So if this can get above, if it gets above 770, we may put on an option trade on this one. But we'll keep you in the loop on that one. Just continue to watch this as a leader in software sector. And the other one we're really watching is HubSpot. Needs to get above this area. Just kind of watch that there. Take a look at Toast. Pull back to his 20-day moving average and bounce. We continue to hold this. And this is in my wife's account and another account we kind of manage. So Toast. Square, we have the options on. Pull back to the 10-day moving average, kind of slide through it a little bit. Just continue to hold that. And 4 is the other one. And it went down through its 200-day moving average. The owner started this company when he was 16. Rejected a buyout offer that he and his board of directors felt was too low. And so they're going to continue to build this company. So continue to watch this. If it does have a bottoming base here, we're going to put on an option trade on this one. We may go out to 2-3 months. So that is that. Take a look at what Meta did today, which we continue to hold. Meta bounced slightly. We have NVIDIA up slightly. Super microcomputer bounced as well. We have this. We have an option on super microcomputer. I'm just trying to see if I can get to that one. Yeah, so super microcomputer was up slightly today. Let's go over to MicroStrategy. Got all these ants over here. We know we got several people that are shorting this company. Some of the funds, they're buying Bitcoin and shorting MicroStrategy. Unreason. I'm not sure if it's unreasonable, but there's definitely a higher than normal amount of shorts into this. So it has the potential to really jump if there's any short squeeze on this stock. So we saw a number of ants buying over here, but ants sometimes buy at the top. So go back to super microcomputer and see the same thing. Ants were buying institutional companies. This is showing they're buying over here. They bought here on a pullback, and it is trending higher. Elf Beauty, one of our core holdings. We had put on, it shorted this when it got up, actually got up here and then pulled back. So we shorted it at 225 right over here, call options, and it is pulling back. It almost got to the 50-day moving average before it bounced a little bit today, still down 2%. Looks like it may be need to start a new base. Not sure if it'll go down this far, but maybe it'll do something like this. So we continue to hold and watch Elf Beauty. Kava Mediterranean Grill tried to move higher today and sold off. We did put on 7 shorts. We have 1,500 shares of Kava, and we did put on 7 shorts at 70. So it tried to move up 70 and it's pulled back. Let's see what the high was today. It was actually 71.60. Take a look at app. Continue to hold app. We actually have the options on app right at 45. So we continue to hold them. They did pull back a little bit, but they're trading right around their 10-day moving average, only down 0.12% on a day that the bond yields moved up pretty strong. So we like that action. We'll take a look at what Celsius did today. Celsius had a strong pullback here. Tried to move higher and pull back down 0.47%. We'll see if it's kind of consolidating. Earnings aren't for another 38 days. We're going to continue to hold that. We did sell some 2 weeks ago, but we did sell 100 shares, and then we shorted the call option at 100. So we're making money on those shorts of the call option. And then the last one we're going to take a look at two more RTX. We have the 94.99 option trade doing pretty well. Pull back 2 days, and then it's just been trending higher. We continue to hold that one. And ARM kind of hanging in there. Had a strong pullback on Wednesday, and it's been just trading in this range here, up 1.54% today. Take a look at Duolingo. Pulling back a little bit. Look, we got a double bottom over here. This was a place to buy. So we did put this on a option right before earnings. Popped up here. Didn't like the sell-off. We sold it. When it popped back in this area, we bought it back. So we're just kind of holding on to that one. And that's kind of where we are right now. Just in a holding pattern. We'll keep you abreast on where everything is going. May not have a show for a few days. Got to do some painting. But whatever you do, go out there and keep up your goals and your activities. And you'll surprise everybody around you. If you have any financial goals you'd like to discuss, feel free to reach out to us on our YouTube page. This has been Mornings with Michael, brought to you for information and educational purposes only. Go out there on Tuesday to support your favorite taco truck on Taco Tuesdays. And in the meantime, have a great day.